Ever heard of a bank heist where the thieves left a note saying, "Thanks for the security lapse"? Today we're diving into the incredible story of the Knightsbridge Security Deposit robbery, one of the most audacious heists in British history. A crime so perfectly planned, it left Scotland Yard baffled for weeks. This isn't just a robbery, it's a masterclass in criminal audacity. How did one man, Valerio Viche, pull off a heist worth over £60 million in broad daylight? The story begins not in London, but under the sunny skies of Italy. Valerio Viche was no ordinary criminal. He was the son of a lawyer, intelligent, charismatic, and obsessed with the art of the steal. By the 1980s, he was wanted in Italy for over 50 armed robberies. To escape the law, he fled to London, a city he saw as a land of opportunity. But he didn't lay low. Instead, he started planning his masterpiece. He spent his days casing high-end locations, studying security systems, and living a life of luxury. He frequented the exclusive Harrods department store, not just to shop, but to observe. It was there, near Knightsbridge, that he found his target, the Knightsbridge Security Deposit. It was a fortress, seemingly impenetrable, filled with the private wealth of London's elite. For Viche, it was the ultimate challenge. Viche knew he couldn't do this alone. He assembled a small, loyal crew. His right-hand man was a trusted associate from his past. Together, they spent months meticulously planning. Their first move was to become customers. Viche rented a safe deposit box inside the vault, which gave him the perfect excuse to be there and study the facility from the inside. He learned the staff's routines, the layout of the building, and the security protocols. He noted the cameras, the alarms, and the thickness of the vault door. The plan was deceptively simple but required flawless execution. They wouldn't blast their way in. They would walk in through the front door, posing as legitimate customers wanting to access their box. The key was timing and deception. On the morning of July 12, 1987, Viche and his accomplice walked into the Knightsbridge Security Deposit. They were well-dressed, calm, and confident. Once inside the vault area, they drew their weapons. They quickly subdued the two security guards and the manager, using plastic ties to secure them. Viche then flipped the closed sign on the front door, a simple move that bought them precious time. With the staff neutralized and the entrance secured, the fortress was theirs. Viche's inside knowledge was critical. He knew exactly how to disable the silent alarms without alerting the police. The vault, filled with countless deposit boxes, lay open before them. The heist was on. Now, with the vault under their control, the real work began. Viche and his crew systematically broke into as many safe deposit boxes as they could. They used crowbars, drills, and hammers, creating a chaotic scene of destruction. They weren't delicate. They were efficient. Box after box was pried open, revealing a treasure trove of jewels, cash, gold bars, and sensitive documents. For hours, they worked tirelessly, stuffing bags with millions of pounds worth of valuables. Meanwhile, the manager was forced to let in any other customers who arrived, who were then also taken hostage. This clever move maintained the illusion of normalcy from the outside. The pile of loot grew to an unimaginable size. They had done the impossible. They had cracked Knightsbridge. After hours of work, Viche's team had gathered a haul estimated to be worth £60 million, which is over $200 million in today's money. They loaded the bags, walked out the front door, and vanished into the bustling London streets. But Viche, ever the showman, left something behind. On the vault door, he scribbled a message for the police, thanking them for the security lapse. When the staff finally managed to free themselves and call for help, Scotland Yard was met with a scene of utter chaos and a taunting message from a ghost. The investigation began immediately, but the thieves had disappeared without a trace. No fingerprints, no witnesses who could provide a clear description. It was the perfect crime. Or was it? The investigation, led by Scotland Yard's elite flying squad, was one of the largest in British history. They were stumped. Viche and his crew had been meticulous. But every perfect plan has a weakness. Vicky's was his ego. While his accomplices laid low, Vicky couldn't resist the allure of his lavish lifestyle. He wanted to retrieve his prized Ferrari Testarossa, which he had left in England before planning to flee. But the police had a breakthrough. A single bloody fingerprint was found at the scene, one that didn't belong to any of the staff or known hostages. They ran it through their databases, and it matched a mid-level criminal who was connected to Viche's circle. The net began to close. The police started tracking Viche's known associates. The pressure mounted. One by one, members of his crew were identified and arrested. But Viche himself had already fled the country, making his way to South America. He thought he was free. However, his desire for his Ferrari would be his undoing. Weeks later, believing the heat had died down, he made a fatal mistake. He returned to England to ship his beloved car to his new home. The police, who had been monitoring his assets, were waiting for him. As he arrived to collect the car, he was surrounded and arrested without a fight. The mastermind was finally caught, not because of a brilliant piece of detective work, but because of his own vanity and his love for a sports car. In the end, Valerio Viche was sentenced to 22 years in prison at Parkhurst, one of England's toughest jails. He spent his time writing a book about his life and the heist. Most of the £60 million worth of loot was never recovered, disappearing along with the members of his crew who evaded capture. The story took one last, tragic turn. In the year 2000, during a day release from an Italian prison where he had been transferred, Viche was killed in a shootout with police. The audacious mastermind who had planned one of history's greatest heists met a violent end. The Knightsbridge robbery remains a legendary tale of ambition, genius, and fatal flaws, a reminder that sometimes the biggest obstacle to getting away with it all is yourself. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more incredible true stories.